Hello there, everybody. It's Jonathan here from intranetfuture with today's edition of Social Today. Welcome to everybody who's joining in. So, for those of you new to this scope, basically Social Today is where I pick a social media theme for the week, and then each day break that up into different aspects and give you a load of good stuff around that. So, welcome to everybody who's joining in now. This week we've been covering Twitter terminology. I'll welcome Sarah. Enjoyed chatting with you on the workshop this morning over at Gloucester Growth Hub. A little later show than normal because of the workshop that I was involved in this morning over in the Growth Hub in Gloucester. Thanks for that very much, Andy. You're blocked. All comments, sensible comments and questions are very much encouraged. And today, as part of the Twitter terminology, we are doing Twitter favorites. So far this week, we've covered hashtags on Monday. Then we looked at retweets on Tuesday. And yesterday we looked at Twitter lists. So today, Twitter favorites. So Twitter favorites, they are similar in nature to Facebook likes, but with a little bit of a twist. They have the additional functionality of being able to bookmark tweets. So if you want to save a tweet for later on, whether it's your tweet or somebody else's, you can basically favorite it. So say you're about to jump into a meeting and you see a link to an interesting piece of news or an article perhaps, then you can favorite that on your phone or device of choice and then come back to it later. Your Twitter favorites are basically always stored under your Twitter profile under the favorites link, where you, and also important to remember, you or anybody else can access those. So when you favorite a tweet, that is public, that you are doing that. So you are also literally liking it like you do on Facebook. So you are showing your appreciation for that tweet. So basically, you can, when you do favorite it, that is flagged up in a person's notification area if it's their tweet that you favorited. So it's a good way of putting yourself on their radar, perhaps, because they're going to see that, assuming they're checking their notifications, and it's perhaps a way of starting off a business relationship there, a kind of lightweight conversation starter, if you will. To give you perhaps an advanced use of Twitter favorites, one strategy you can employ, which I do, is to favorite all the good stuff, sort of positive feedback, testimonials, that kind of thing, that some of us occasionally get, and to put that under your Twitter favorites. So that can do you no harm at all if people are browsing around your profile, clicking on Twitter favorites, and see all this good positive stuff that's been tweeted about you. And it also provides you with a permanent record of testimonial type content that people can see, that you can refer people to. Welcome, James. Good to see you again this afternoon. And you can link to your favorites. So in maybe the testimonials or recommendations area on your website, you can actually link through to all the good stuff that people are saying, talking about you on Twitter under your Twitter favorites. So that can be a pretty handy, nice little tactic strategy for using your Twitter favorites. It's interesting. One recent development that I've noticed is that on a few apps now, I think it's on my iPad app, it's actually changed to, they're actually calling it a like rather than favorite. Whether that's a permanent development, copying Facebook there, or they're just trialing that out remains to be seen. But favorites certainly on Twitter are similar to Facebook likes. And actually, just like all the other things that we've been talking about this week, hashtags, retweets, and Twitter lists, they are underused. So do get out there and favorite content. Puts yourself on somebody's radar. As I say, it basically flags you up to them. You can use them for bookmarks, and you can use them to save positive testimonials type content around you. So all in all, Twitter favorites, pretty useful, pretty cool. So there's a few ideas. If you've got any other ideas for using Twitter favorites, do let me know. No, personally, but there's nothing to stop you doing that. James, do you favourite your own tweets? No, because I basically just use them for feedback and positive stuff that people have said about me in the main. So, not my own. But if you needed a permanent record of a particular tweet that you put out there, then that's absolutely fine to do that. To give yourself that permanent bookmark. So have a try at favoriting more content, and also keep an eye on stuff that has been favorited of yours under your notifications area, and engage with people who favorite your content, because like I say, it's kind of it can act as a conversation starter. So, bit later than usual today. Hope that meant that you didn't miss the show. But you can always catch up with the replays on catch.me. That's katch.me, and they're available forever, not just for 24 hours like they are on Periscope. So give it 10 minutes, and this show plus all the others this week and a few from before last week when I started putting them onto Catch Me are available on katch.me. That's it for today. Back tomorrow, where we're going to not too much to do tomorrow on the actual fresh content tomorrow, because just going to look at replies and mentions on Twitter tomorrow, and I'm also going to summarise what we've covered during this week in Welcome Andy in what I call the weekly wrap. So tomorrow, we're basically going to have a little bit on hashtags, a little bit on retweets, a little bit on Twitter list, a little bit on Twitter favorites, and a little bit on Twitter replies and mentions. So in other words, going to cover Twitter terminology as a recap of what we've been covering this week. Welcome, Carolina. So do please ask any more questions, make any comments, suggestions. If you've got any ideas around using Twitter favorites, do tell me. If you've got any questions on Twitter in general, please do type them in the comments. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at intranetfuture and ask me any one-off questions there. Happy for you to ask me a one-off question, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Any more than a one-off question, and I'll charge you. But one-off question, absolutely fine. If you're looking for more tips, sign up to my newsletter at intranetfuture.com, and at the bottom of the homepage you'll see an easy newsletter sign up. All I need is your email address. Pop that in there and you'll get 100 Facebook tips, 100 Twitter tips, 100 LinkedIn tips, my regular newsletter, and some other good stuff as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's scope. Whatever you're doing for the rest of the day, I hope it's productive and fun for you, and I'll be back again